Hello guys, it's been some time since you've seen my last build. Back then, a couple of months ago, I was talking about Warlord. Well, I'm still on the Warlord train, although patch 1140 brought some justified or unjustified nerfs that we're gonna talk about a bit. So, this is still my Eye of Reckoning level 100 Warlord called Tornado. And let's go briefly to what happened in patch 1140. Basically, the following. Ascension got nerfed to the point where, as you can see, all damage is equal to all retaliation damage, meaning the all damage portion got nerfed. I have Reckoning damage scaled down, and that's kind of really unfortunate. Celestial Presence AoE scaled down, and also the total amount of physical resistance, fire, and bleeding resistance reduction scaled down as well, which is well, for us it's not that important since we're summoning the Guardians of Empyrean right next to us and we're melee build, so we don't care. But for other things like a ranged caster or something, it is a bit of a nerf. Overall, we've lost damage, and yeah, doesn't feel that good, to be honest. Anyway, that's about it with what the patch changed. This is a slightly new build. It's been adapted from something that I've seen from the forums. As usual, I would like to thank all of the build creators for their valuable input, although they did it indirectly by me reading tons and tons of things. The point of this character and the strength of this character, I just really just want to point and click. I just want to spin and not care. As you notice, I have one charge ability. Well, this is more like a Shadow Strike ability because I needed one of these just to move around fast. I have Blitz from Warrior, I have Warcry just to debuff people, and I have Ascension. That's it. There's nothing else on the bar. There's nothing else I have to press. This is a very simple, very friendly build. Let's go over the gear real quick, and then we're going to go over the devotions. We're using the Warborn set because it's one of the two sets, the other one being Cyclone set, that grants Eye of Reckoning percent weapon damage. Percent weapon damage is important because when you have percent weapon damage, as you can notice on the top of this chest piece, for example, it says 10, 11 to 18 physical damage. It's going to add that, proportionate to the weapon damage, of course, to the Eye of Reckoning. What I mean by that is, if you do not have an ability that has percent weapon damage added to it, these flat amounts are not going to be added. These flat amounts including obviously devotions as well. So it doesn't matter if your devotion would say that it gives you like 500 to 1000 physical damage to an ability, if that ability does not innately use your weapon or benefits from percent weapon damage, which is exactly what this set needs. So we're using the head. Obviously we have a prismatic Dammit in here because it's really important to get prismatic rage. Once you get below 50%, it gives 130 damage absorption, which is huge. 130 damage absorption is like level 20, almost level 20 Maven Sphere from Arcanist. And although it only lasts for 8 seconds, it's huge once it procs. I also wanted to conquer Crucible 170 with extra spawns on this guy, but I'm really bad. The only real vulnerability of this character is me, the player. So, Warborn set. We're using Mythical Ring of the Black Matriarch. It's very easy to see why. This one actually spawned with maximum cunning and 12 defensibility just on top of a bonus max attack speed. I couldn't say no to this. This was really cool when I saw it. Venom of the Black Matriarch is really cool because it's passive. You don't really care about it. And of course it adds to minus physical resistance, which is really cool. Please notice that my rings and my neck are going to be using Osiris Temper simply because for the stats that you're going to see once I use the buffs, it is simply better than Survivor's Ingenuity, which gives 20% 20% all damage and 2% each. So this flat 55 offensive, 50 defensive ability is better than anything else that I would possibly have in terms of buffing my offensive ability per total and my defensive ability per total. Okay, we're also using Bloodied Crystal simply because armor is very important. A lot of people don't realize it, but most enemies in the game, the largest portion of their damage is actually physical. And because of that, physical resist, which this character doesn't have quite a lot, you're going to see in a second, and armor are incredibly important, as well as armor absorption. Now, technically, the build could use a Coven Storm Seal, which is extremely good for 4% defensive ability being, I think, one of the max rolls. You can simply go to the Coven and simply spam the vendor until you get one that has amazingly good rolls with like maximum attack speed, maximum poison acid resistance, maximum percent defensive ability. And this one is going to carry you pretty hard because it gives field command and presence of virtue. And both of them are amazing. Presence of virtue is just really high offensive ability, internal trauma, and the same can be said with field command, like amazing offensive and defensive abilities and armor absorption, increased armor percentage, sorry. So the ring is, don't be fooled that it's just a level 80 something ring. It's actually amazingly cool if you get one with good results. And for boots, you can use mythical Greaves of Ill Omens. If you use mythical Greaves, it has 2% soul fire, it has a lot of stun reduced stun duration, and a lot of elemental resist, which is actually kind of needed because I haven't really overcapped mine yet. Not to mention the fact that the elemental damage you're going to see is going to be physical later. If you use those, you also get maximum soul fire. You cap soul fire as well. So 22 out of 12. Please remember that you can only cap 10 more than what the skill shows. So this one is 26 out of 16, meaning I hard capped Eye of Reckoning. I cannot put any more points into Eye of Reckoning, not even if I wanted to. And even if I would, the bonus would still not be applied. So it would still not go over this. So what did I do instead of these two options, which I think are really cool for starting players? Well, I have a Dreadlord's Cronley's Signet of Alacrity, which is... I know this doesn't look like much. Because if you're a regular player, if you're a newer player, you look at this and you go like, what the hell is going on here? Well, let me explain. The vitality and bleeding damage are not that important. Vitality is something that I do almost none of. Bleeding is like a passive bonus. I have also some bleeding damage like from Sandreaver's Bracers, but it's just like secondary. The Dreadlords gives vitality, bleeding, and Aether. Okay, but what it does is it gives me 6% attack damage converted to health for free, which is a stat that I desperately needed. I wanted to have more than just 10%, if possible, on this build, without having to sacrifice too many components to get there, without having to sacrifice and get like a Seal of Blades that would give me like 5% leech. So you're going to notice that I changed that into something else. And this one also spawned with Alacrity, which is incredibly stupid. It has 30% attack speed by itself. So overall, I'm already like at 176 attack speed, and this is like Eye of Reckoning attacks 5 times per second when you're spinning and scales up with attack speed. So having more leech and more attack speed, always a good survivability thing to have, like amazingly cool. And instead of Greaves of Ill Omens, I chose to have Warding Stoneplate Greaves of Kings. They have pretty high health, pretty decent defensive ability. The energy regen, nothing to scoff at. They're actually pretty good because this is still a very energy intense build. Aether resistance was really good. The reduced stun duration is really good. Maximum physical resistance was amazing. And of course it gives Kings, which is a very similar buff to the good old Chaucers of Barbados, which does very similar things. This one is 10% duration, 150% and 10% total speed. This one's 145, 18 second duration and 10% total speed. So once these two things proc, they give me total damage, almost 300%, which is nothing to scoff at. So these were my choices instead of using Mythical Greaves of Ill Omens and instead of using Coven Storm Seal. I wanted to go really hard into SR, but I'm really bad at piloting and I had really bad luck. I'll get to it, and once I finally conquer that thing, you're going to see a video on it as well. So, because I have so much leech now, because of that very good ring, look at this 13%, that's ridiculously high, I decided to use double Seal of Might. Seal of Might also converts 25% of my Aether damage to physical damage, so other bonuses, like for example the fact that I'm using Bismiel's Shroud with flat Aether damage, physical and Aether damage, is actually going to kind of start stacking up a bit. Let's put on my all of my things first. Let's see what we're looking at here. So as you notice, overwhelming percent of damage is physical, with very, very small bleeding and some decent internal trauma numbers. Attack speed is like 189, which is crazy, crazy high for something that didn't proc. Slightly over 3000 DA, slightly over 3000 OA with 0 procs, which is really, really cool, because once you're going to see proc, I can go to like 3.6k OA, which is not important. It's only important if you get debuffed, to be honest. Other than that, it's not. There's just a big number with no usefulness added to it. For the belt, I'm actually using a Virgin's Girdle, one in Oath to Oathkeeper, because it's very important to overcap on, like, not to hard cap, I would say. I've reckoned now, because, well, it's been nerfed. It's a bit sad that you cannot use Avenger's Might, as in you don't get a passive bonus, but it is what it is. Korvac's brand is here for 2 reasons. Offensive ability, attack speed, some decent resists, maximum resists, which is nothing, like, it's really, really good. Soulfire bonuses, which is a secondary part of Eye of Reckoning. And very importantly, it allows you to dual wield. Very important, because as usual, we're using the Warborn Gavel, and we're using Baronath Reforged in order to convert, using Might of Baronath, the aura, quote unquote, to convert Chaos and Elemental purely into physical. So all of a sudden, this chaos damage is also converted into pure physical. The aether damage, 50% of the aether damage that you see at the bottom there is also converted into physical, so we're basically a physical machine. Sand River Bracers, very important to get max attack speed. The bleeding number is really not important. However, Blood of the Sands is really cool. I use mine with Restless Remains because I like a lot of leech, but I could also probably go with something else. The 220 energy is actually really, really good. Serenity, because again, capping everything is very, very, very important. I wish I had something that had better than pierce resistance. Ideally, you would want something that gives you 3% physique, 3% cunning, and 3% spirit. That bonus, I think, is the best. You need a lot of cunning for this weapon, and a lot of spirit for the rings as well, like 399 for Ring of the Black Matriarch, which means you can dump even more points out of physique, out of spirit, and into cunning. As you've noticed, I have 28 points into physique. I have 63 points into cunning, and 15 points spent into spirit. The reason why that is because it also contributes to OA, cunning, and more than that, it also increases like pierce, physical, and duration of bleeds that would like trauma that would come after the physical portion. So it increases both the physical and the dot component of these two things. Right. Skill times. Skills are the same. Max out Presence of Virtue. Haven up until my HP was in a good point. Some points into Rebuke. 1 point into Resilience for when I drop below 66%. So now I have Prismatic Rage for 50%. I have Resilience for 66%. These are my 2 main defenses. Ascension, I don't overcap it because it's been nerfed, so I only get 160 total damage and damage absorption. Clarity of Purpose up to the point where it gets 15% offensive ability. Max Eye of Reckoning, Max Soulfire, very simple stuff. Guardian of Empyrean, and Max Celestial Presence. I've seen a lot of people do their Warlords in a bad way. They go into Soldier, they read what Alderaan does and go like, oh my god, 1% offensive ability. Oh, so much. It's like, yeah, it is, but this build has a lot of offensive ability. You don't really need it. So if you commit all of these points and the all-around rage points, you're getting into the point where you're over-invested, because unfortunately you still kind of have to take Celestial Presence. Even if you take all-around rage, if you don't take Celestial Presence, if you don't have any Guardians of Empyrean, you don't shred enough physical resistance, so damage is not even going to be noticeable on hard tanky bosses, for example. And look, it's like 10 more additional points investment. However, if you go into Divine Mandate, you get a ton of crit damage, which is something that people completely forget about. Like, at one point, I would venture to say that somewhere past 3k, let's say 3.2k offensive ability, crit damage becomes the #1 stat that would dramatically increase how much more damage you would do. Like, dramatically. It's just the way it is. I would like to give you some advice regarding augments, but augments are not that important. I'm going to link it in Grimtools. When it's going to work, it's going to work. I'm going to edit the video. I'm sorry, it's not going to be up Grimtools, that is, until the end of the week. But we're going to give Stupid Dragon our love, because he's the guy that made the Grimtools, and I couldn't live without him. I couldn't play this game without him. Right. Devotions now, really quick. Sorry, Soldier first. My mistake. So we go up to Scars of Battle. I didn't really overcap stun resist, but it's not that important. 65 is still a decent number. Maximum break morale, because I want to reduce target physical. Warcry, I think I put 1 or 2 more points into it because I just wanted slightly bigger AoE. I put 10 points into Fighting Spirit because I'm really, really, really greedy, and I like a lot of OA numbers just because it's cool. Blitz, but without Blindside. The reason why I didn't take Blindside is because I hate it when I hit like Chtonian followers or small humanoids like Cronley's gang, and they just fly over everywhere, and I have to chase them to kill them because they're not in my range anymore, and I really, really don't like it. So if I make one of them fly away, that's fine. 3 targets maximum. If I put this point, it's like I throw the entire bunch out the window and I have to go chase him, and it's really annoying. I maxed field command, enough points for some attack speed and squad tactics. More investment than this is not necessary. It would literally not be okay. Military conditioning is here also for physique, because I wanted to reduce the investment in physique. Like these bad boys actually require like 1035, and I have an 8% reduction for my devotion, so still 952 physics. That is a lot of investment. And also for HP, I'm a bit over 15k, but it's okay. I put 1 point into veterancy exactly for that. I needed some elemental and slow resistance. Why not? It's really good. Devotions now, very, very quickly and very, very easily. Ghoul. 1 point in red. We go into 1 point in red. You go ghoul. You go ghoulish hunger. You put the point in. You take it out. You start investing somewhere else. You put in viper. All of a sudden, now you can take the point out. You can take the point out in ghoul. 2 points into jackal because energy is really, really good, and 6% total speed is important. Total speed affects cast speed, affects attack speed, affects movement speed, affects anything. So this point is actually quite useful. It's actually pretty solid. Assassin's Mark on Eye of Reckoning for that physical shred resist. Yeah. Eel, because it's really, really good for what it does. It's actually really cool for what it does. Panther, because we need the colors, and it's overall cunning and spirit again are very hard to come by. They're actually pretty good on this build because you need really high cunning and really high spirit, and you don't want to overinvest into physique either. We go Tower because it's Solemn Watcher, sorry, my bad, because it's still one of the best defensive abilities imaginable. We go to Ulzad's Decree, 100% bound to Warcry. It's really, really cool. It actually does so much damage that I can kill humanoids just by yelling at them, and makes me feel really good. Here, technically speaking, we could have tried to take Autumn Boar, but it requires way too much investment points, and instead of that, I simply decided to do what the other guys decided to do, which is take Arcane Barrier from Crab, right, which protects against Elemental, Aether, and Chaos, which are still probably some of the most dangerous damage types out there. And because of that, we have exactly enough points to finish row on Scepter. Remember that we're also having Mace, and this is probably the best constellation by far for Maces. Like, it gives really, really high trauma damage numbers and stuff. We also get Shifting Sands, because why not? We can also put it on Guardian of Empyrean because there's still scale with player bonuses, so the more OA you have, the more chances they are. Don't be dismayed by the fact that it says 20% chance on attack. They scale up with your attack speed, and they get your bonuses anyway, so they attack pretty fast. And these 3 points are actually incredibly strong. Like, these 3 points in Obelisk are just... I think this is like maybe 200 something defensive, and in terms of armor it's like 300 armor and like 200 something defensive ability. I almost have 250,000 just like tooltip on Eye of Reckoning with nothing else, and pretty decent armor, but it's gonna go up. In terms of physical resist, I wish I had better Chaucers. If I had slightly better Chaucers, I would probably go up a bit, but not that much, to be honest. I think that 21 or 22% is the absolute maximum you can squeeze out of this, unless you make some concessions and you get like 10% physical resist on boots, and you have to give up that king's prefix, which is kind of cool. Let's be honest, like this is kind of cool, right? So I wouldn't want to do that. Okay. Now what I'm going to do for you guys is let's go hunting some Nemesis. Let's start trying to find Kupa. I'll show you my routes. You go to Barrowholm for Ugdenblums. Sorry, you go to Barrowholm, and we're going to try to rush Silvaria. Real quick, I forgot to mention something. I use Emblem of the Shadowy Assassin because I don't really like to do Shattered Realm that much. It's kind of gimmicky, and I like to take things head on, and Shattered Realm sometimes it's just better not to kill the big guys and just go around until you complete one of the runes, right? Like you complete one of the shards, and I don't like to be cheesy with my fights. I like to take things head on. Anyway, the reason why I got it is mobility, because I can do things like this. And then we go here, I use the charge, and by the time this is over, oh look, I have this other thing again. Absolutely fine. And this is going to help me have a lot more mobility. Please notice that energy cost is really significant, despite the fact that I have a damn conduit, which gives me like 890 energy, and it gives me energy regen per second, and it's still not enough. This is ridiculous. Like the idea that this is not enough energy, like I don't know, I'm gonna have to make a post on the forum to ask them, why is Eye of Reckoning costing so much energy? This is ridiculous. This should not happen like this. Anyway, I'm really hoping that Koopa's gonna be here somewhere, because otherwise we're gonna have to look a little bit harder. Playstyle though is incredibly easy. You just spin and you see big damage numbers. The biggest danger for 99% of all of the content, including like almost all Nemesis except Grava, which is a sentence everyone utters, almost all Nemesis except Grava, is just like right click, like I'm doing because I have it on the right click, and just be done with it. You close your eyes, nothing bad is going to happen. You have so much attack speed, you have so much leech, you have pretty good protection against one-shots. You have at least 2 things that can protect you. It's not bad at all. But the biggest problem, the absolute biggest problem that you can possibly have, is the fact that you forget that you're running out of energy. When that happens, the first thing that goes off is Might of Baronath, so all of a sudden you're not doing pure physical damage, you're doing a lot of elemental, which you didn't build for, and I keep forgetting, and I'm like, why am I only doing 200k damage? See what I mean? I'm out of energy. I have to wait now. God. Zantai, why are you doing this to me, buddy? I mean, seriously. What did I do to you? I never understand. They always make this whirlwind slash cyclone slash Eye of Reckoning skill in games, and they always give it these stupid drawbacks that I don't understand. It already has a significant drawback. One of the significant drawbacks is that it has very small hits, which is the drawback it incurs in everything. In every one of these situations, it's the same. Like, you have very small hits, so even you have like massive leech, it's still not gonna leech a lot. But even so, this is like, all right, we didn't find Koopa. I'm going to go look for Grava. I'm picking a fight. This is also my Chtonian Seals kind of thing, but it's more passive. This is the beauty of having like mobility things. I don't recommend, by the way, to have a shadow strike quote unquote ability and the charge ability if you're trying to do serious SR. If you're trying to do serious SR, this is gonna sound crazy. I think you definitely need the disengage ability. You do, because you see, Eye of Reckoning does not protect you from collision at all. So sometimes the big guys are going to surround you. This is one of the weaknesses it has. The big guys are going to surround you, and you won't be able to get out. And when that happens, you're going to regret. Like, seriously, you're going to definitely regret it, and it's going to be bad. So you definitely need the disengage ability instead of what I'm using here, like double charge. I haven't showed you what happens when I have, like, look, I have 300k now, but I haven't really showed you what happens when I have all of the things up. I think I get very close to 400k like tooltip damage, not even actual damage, not including their armor, but also not including the shred that I'm doing, like the flat shred from Warcry and all of the percent shred that I'm getting from Ring of the Black Matriarch and from my Guardians of Empyrean. But I think you can definitely notice that damage is okay. I'm gonna say this and it's gonna sound really bad, and I apologize to people that haven't played this, but I still feel like the damage nerf was a bit extra. And one of the main reasons why I think that is it wasn't really doing that absurdly much to begin with. Sort of. It really was not. Our little boy Grava has like a couple of places where he can. Oh, that's cool. I actually killed her while she was invisible because she was trying to charge her. That's nice. So he has a couple of spots. There's one here, there's one here, and I go through here to find where the Chthonic Rift is. There's also a chance he's in the Chthonic Rift, in which case it's going to be really fun to kill him because it's more difficult. I'll explain why, but let's see if he's going to be a good boy and he's going to be outside. I'm going to try to find all of the Nemesis for you guys while I keep talking. I hope that's okay with you. I don't want you to just watch this for the playstyle, although it's pretty cool, and I don't want to use like something really fast like Grim Internals to just teleport myself to where I know that there's a dungeon or something. I feel like you should probably see whether this build has a weakness or not, right? So my guy's not where he's supposed to be, and I'm sad because I wanted a really quick fight. I've been promising you guys a Nemesis and haven't found one yet, so yeah. So I killed about like 60 probably cultists. Let's see how many tonic seals I have. 0. Like I don't like they buffed the drop rates twice in the past, and I still like they're still incredibly low. Pro tip: always open a portal before going into a Chthonic Rift. You never know when you're going to get your ass whooped. So he has to be here or here. He's not. Man, I'm getting really triggered by this. Well, I have a Bandagros. One of the things that you have to do for this guy, by the way, you have to kill these two guys here that you noticed because they are actually healers. And because they are healers, what they're going to do is they're going to let you go down. They're going to let you like get the guy down. It's like 20% Bandagros, that is. And then they're going to heal him up to full. Healing in this game is completely broken when it's about the mobs. They're going to fully heal someone. Okay, we have the boss of the room here. I don't really care. Double King's Proc. I hope you can see it. And we do damage now. Come on, command. Oh man, he debuffed me. I wanted to see how much damage. I had 3.7k OA and he still debuffed my damage. So sad. Anyway, if it's not here, there's a chance he's gonna be in here. Come on, man. I'm really trying here. Like, I really don't want to restart the video. God. No luck, guys. Sorry. Grava is probably hiding somewhere else. Another thing that I can actually add is be very, very careful with these servitor, the big ladies. Look, this one's arcane, for example. This one can also debuff me, which is incredibly dangerous. But they are also healers, so exactly the same problem. If you get Grava Tool in this Fringes of Sanity, what you have to do is you have to run around. You have to clear the path and be able to run around, or else if you're too close to him in melee range, he's going to debuff you with his 2 bolts that he shoots out every like 10-15 seconds. And after he does that, you won't have any place to run. And if you by any chance go near one of these girls, they're actually going to Wraithbound, very cool. If you go one of those type of mobs, there's a chance they're actually going to heal them to full, and then you're going to really, really hate your life. Okay, so What else can we try? I'm really not having luck. I'm going to kill... I'm going to show you my Kaisan route next. I'm just hoping for a quick Fabius just to like, warm up. I apologize for the delay. I don't know what the hell is going on here. You really have to learn to use the mobility. The new mobility skills are really good, and they significantly reduce farm time, like to the point where it becomes pretty cool. Even if you're a melee character, or even if you are a caster that didn't have a mobility skill previously, now all of a sudden you have some options. All right, let's see. So he's either here. There's quite a few places he can be. I like to clear these guys out though, because there's a lot of dynamite to be had. I think you noticed that I'm using Grim Internals because I hate picking up things, and you always need the bits. Let's be honest here. What the heck is with this amazing luck? I just keep getting things. The reason why you keep seeing stuff on my screen is because you can search for a specific prefix and or a specific suffix when it comes to Grim Internals, and I had mine set to Wraithbound because it's cool. I don't know. I like that prefix. I want to see if I can make my summoner a bit stronger by finding a uniquely potent combination of prefix and suffix. Still nothing. Let's. Oh, Boris didn't even spawn. What a little asshole. Ooh, ooh. Dead. Okay. Okay. I still have some room. That's fine. So, we have to go through here, and we have to visit Cronley and see where our little boy is.
Can't do that yet.
Because I'm pretty sure he's going to be somewhere. Got that dynamite. Keep going. Don't go over there. Clicking is the hardest enemy in this game, obviously. I mean, duh. Please be somewhere. Please don't make me look for you. One thing that people should know is that Grim Dawn still kind of forces you to farm every single act in the game, which is kind of cool. And they all kind of scale up to the point where it's actually beneficial for you to do so. It's never one of those things where you go to yourself and think to yourself, oh, but I actually have to go back and do this area, but I'm so higher level than it or something. No, it's always really good. Now we're gonna have to look a bit for our little friend Fabius. Fab. Also, for the newer players out there, one of the reasons why I picked up Mythical Acolyte's Cord is because it's one of the very few, I would say there's like 10, maybe 15 blue items that are actually really helpful in this game, and they're actually better than epic variants that you might otherwise see. 323k. Okay.
That skill's not ready.
Come on, be here. The icons that you see are actually my debuffs. I'm really shredding his physical resist as much as possible. Because it's good, and because I can, and because this is the build that does most of the physical damage. Sorry, Direni, but you're not gonna get a chance to do anything because you're dead. See, you can even charge objects that are destroyable. You don't need to always target a person. And I'm gonna try to show you exactly how useful this thing is versus Alexander. Because Alexander has a meteor, and he keeps trying to make it land on your head. So a very useful thing that you can do with Alexander is you can simply charge out of the way of said meteor, and yeah. Another thing that I'm wondering is, let's see, can I do this if I calculate my CDs properly? I think I can do it. Like he had the shield on, and I was like, can I sit in all of this save their fire until I kill him? Yes, the answer is I can, definitely. Only the 66% protection actually dropped resilience from the Oathkeeper, which activates when you drop under 66, and I was sitting quite in a lot of ether fire. So again, the build is very well thought of, not by me but by other people. I just decided to change some gear. The problem is me. I'm the weakest link. I'm pretty sure people could do 170 extra spawn Crucible or SR76 very comfortably on this build. I can't because I am an idiot. There's one more place where we can look for this guy. I really don't want to do it, but whatever, I kind of have to now, don't I? There we go. Fabius, the Unseen Gunzar. Yeah, you're gonna see it's gonna be very, very intense. You ready for this?
That skill's not ready.
Really intense. Amazing. I know I make it look easy, but actually, in all honesty, this is not an easy fight. It really is not. He uses the circle of blades to heal himself up. If you have a lot of pets, you have to pull him back. But please keep in mind that this is a highly optimized build, in the hands of an idiot, but a highly optimized build, right? So don't look at it and say, "Oh, that's easy. Let me try that with my non-full set, non-full stuff," because it's going to hurt a lot. I'm not going to look through all of these things that much. This is something you can always look out for. Rylock crests are really good for soldiers in general, because they can be a very good alternative. Impervious of Fortitude. Nope, pretty bad. Sorry for this. This is not exactly what you... Oh, this is pretty cool. Yes, maybe that is worth keeping for a sec. Wraithbound of Spellweaving. Man, Spellweaving killed all of my expectations for this game, I swear to God. These are best in slot gloves basically for retaliation, but the percent retaliation and the flat fizz retaliation are small. If you guys need any of those, I have like 20 of them actually saved. Just because I thought that was a good idea. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Now, we got Fabius. Let's try something cool. Let's try to find Kaisan, the new Nemesis boss. So, teleport here. There's a couple of spawn places right down. He could either be in the Temple of Apeth or right over here. We're going straight in to see what happens. And if not, I'm going to show you where to go next if you can't find them. It's always a good idea to farm these guys as hard as you can. Simply because these guys can drop Celestial Lotuses. Very rarely, but they can. They can also drop Eldritch Essences, which is very useful for this if you have all of the expansions, because you can reroll stuff. So yeah, definitely kill all of the heroes that you see. Eh, we weren't lucky, he didn't spawn inside. It happens sometimes, what can you do? There's the boss here. Get a Thun. Double fucking King's procced instantly. And my damage is 388k and 3.7k OA. Yep. This build is pretty cool once you max out everything. Pretty cool. To the point where I think that I have way too much offensive ability. I'm gonna take a little bit of a risk. I should have went a bit lower, but I'm gonna take a bit of a risk and look for him in all of the other places that I know he might spawn at, because I'm an idiot like that. But instead of doing it like this, I should probably go to the next, to Infernal Waste, and then move down instead of doing it like this. So the next point is here. You can go to Infernal Waste looking for Kaisan. There's also a mini boss here. Sometimes, let's see if we get it. If not, I'm not gonna look for it. Ah, there we go. Rimjaw.
That skill's not ready.
Z. Packhound Alpha. Everything procced. 50,000 damage. Cool stuff. Nope. He's not here. We're gonna move a bit because there's a treasure trove there sometimes. Please remember that some of these guys actually can heal. So do not be surprised if you go around like all of those mobs, humanoids especially, and all of a sudden the hero mob that you're hitting is going to like be full HP again. Don't be surprised. It means you simply did not anticipate which one of you on the screen is going to heal him. Which I can't really blame you for that because there's a lot of mobs. And I wanted to tell you something else that I found out regarding the game engine, and you're not going to believe this, but there is no cheat to actually like teleport you to a place where a Nemesis spawns, because it's impossible. You see, the game has no idea where Nemesis spawn. It just spawns once you enter a certain area, but it doesn't know which one. It's like a chance. So basically there is no Kaisan yet. There's only going to be one as soon as I probably enter one of these temples. But there's quite a few of them left. For this temple of Sethan, he's going to be here. If he's going to be there. We can also kill Vengeance of Kaimon, the lady. She's going to try to run away from us, but we have a charge skill too, so bad luck. Alright. Please notice that my single target damage right now, top single target damage, 980k. So almost a million, right? There were times when this build could pull out 1.2. And if you think about it and you say, wow, that's it's not such a big loss, it kind of is. I know I make it sound stupid by saying such things, and people are going to be probably a bit angry with me by saying that Eye of Reckoning nerfs were not really warranted, but I mean, maybe they were warranted for the Cyclone version, but for the Warborn version, I never thought they were that strong. Plus, generally speaking, what they were supposed to do is basically nerf the set instead of trying to nerf the ability. I think that's a better way of doing it, because if you nerf the ability, it kind of nerfs every variation of the build, including like Chaos or Aether, Eye of Reckoning, and those are very rare and very difficult to make functional. We don't have him here, because if we had him here, you would have heard it. Now this guy, oh, everything popped again. My leech is good enough, I think. Yep, leech is good enough. I still had the resilience pop because I went under 66%. But that being said, pretty decent. So the leech is actually pretty serious. 13%, nothing to scoff at. So I can use those double seal of mites in order to, one, transform as much ether into flat fizz as I can, because it's really cool. I like that concept of transforming everything into fizz. And two, getting more physical resistance, which is literally the only thing that I think this build can have a problem with. It doesn't have such good physical resistance, which is regrettable, but what can you do? This was another spawn point where it could spawn. Not really sure if it can spawn in Tomb of Nephos. I don't think I've ever seen Kaisan spawn here, and unfortunately Grimtools is down, so please don't blame me for not doing my homework right before I show you this, because I tried, but it's not working. This is also the place of the new smith that can give you stuff for very expensive prices, in my opinion. It's like 4 essences. It's not bad if you have quite a bit of them, but if you don't have a lot of Eldritch essences, it's going to be very expensive very fast. We have a little boss here. I pressed my ascension without having any of the king's procs up, which is a bit regrettable, but it's okay. I don't even know what dropped. Oh, that tome. That's an old tome. Thought it was something new. All right. Reflective. I need ascension. I need ascension. I need ascension before this guy reflects me and I kill myself with all the bleeding and trauma damage that I'm doing sometimes. Remember, ascension is also damage absorption. It's not only an offensive ability. It can also be your best friend and help you, especially in terms of reflect. Never underestimate how much damage you do compared to how much defenses you have. Or else you might, you know, end up dead. And also apologize if I speak a bit too much, but I'm really getting a bit frustrated with the fact that this guy refuses to show himself. But it's my fault for sucking at SR and not knowing how to kill all of the guys properly. I'm gonna take another mini risk, and I'm going to assume he's not in the Pit of Atonement because I don't think I've ever saw him there in like quite a few runs. I think I have like well over 60 of his necklaces, although none of them are really good so far. Farming him is actually stupidly cool because he does not drop his own necklace, Kaisan's Burning Eye or Kaisan's the other eye. He does not drop them when it comes to SR or when it comes to Crucible. So the only way you can farm his MI, which is a necklace that gives 1 to all skills, is by doing this and having decent mobility skills that you remember to use. Here we're gonna come up to a very interesting fight. Ah, boy. But I'm okay with that. He's gonna put the thing underneath me. That was a very huge mistake on my part because I've let the guys heal him. I ignored it completely, see? And this is what happens when you do that. I could have died so easily there. Prismatic Rage didn't proc, so I never went under 50%, but still, I'm missing 1 defensive because I'm an idiot. And that's how not to do things. That's fine, I have resilience. This guy can't really do anything to me. He is kind of strong though, this boss right in front. Oh, come on, Kaisan. I've checked everywhere for you, buddy. Give me something, man. This video is getting really boring. I'm really apologizing for it. The only thing I can show you is how to cheat corners. And even that I'm not doing properly because I hate rotating cameras in these kinds of games. I wish I had more time, guys, for you, so I can make some slightly better videos, like with some kind of production quality added to them. Because right now I'm just showing you, like, literally, there's very little difference between my video that I'm shooting right now and like one of those free cam application at www.camcorder.com pointed on the screen, you know? Very little difference between the two versions. Kaisan can spawn here. Yeah, he didn't though. Which is fine. I'm just hoping he's not going to make me go all the damn way up to Korvac. Korvac fight is going to be cool though. Since I'm here, I should probably do it. Another really cool thing about Reckoning is it's 1 button. For the most part. So, there we go, finally, you little... I can't say it, I shouldn't say it. I'm gonna pop my Ascension now. Destroy the brother. And I'm going to do something a bit different because this is a very populated area. These servants can actually heal. So what I'm going to do... First of all, Did I get a good blade? Sagarius blade. No, I did not. Right. Please remember, always before you go, open portal. You think you're good, you never know whether you're really good or really bad. And I have to go around a bit and kill all of these assholes. It's just gonna be really annoying, but I have to, so... Alright, come here. Might die here simply because I was too far away from the crystals and I thought that they wouldn't reach me here, but they did. See, Prismatic Rage I dropped. That was a mistake, guys. I should have stayed in the room and killed the crystals. If you do not kill the crystals as soon as you see them, you are basically done, gentlemen. Give me 1 second, please, because I fucked up a bit. My inventory is full. Right. Throwing this away, taking the bulwark. Let's see what happened to his eye. There we go. Soldiers of Psyche. Blade Arc. Complete trash. Complete and utter trash. In my personal opinion, if you don't have at least one offensive or defensive stat on, this plus skill thing is just completely wasted. Nobody cares about Blade Arc. It's good how it is. It's good by using the Blood Rager set, which ironically already has an amulet, so caking this in has absolutely no added value whatsoever. If you need to make a blade set, you need Blood Rager and you need a Witchblade, because that's what's happening. Okay, this guy, Kaiman, is actually more dangerous than Kaisan because of the room and because of what can happen if you sit in the fires. Like, I just got debuffed.
That skill's not ready.
Prismatic Rage already popped. Again, this guy is just ironically too strong. It's like, look at this. This guy popped both of my defensive at the same time because he shotguns melee characters and there's nothing you can do about it. God, this is so bad. Oh, Charge of Thunder? Not the best, not the worst. We don't really care about these guys. I'm just using my movement skills to go past. If I see gargoyles, sometimes I'm going to kill them because they have an Oath Keeper MI belt with +1 to all skills. So you could probably replace this with a very, very good rolled gargoyle thing, like of Ruin with like Flat Fizz or something. It's going to be just so good. So that's why gargoyles are sometimes really cool. Another thing that you should have noticed here is, you noticed how I start spinning right before they drop down, is because in this game, although they're intangible, they still produce effects. I'll show you exactly what you can do to slightly increase your DPS versus bosses that have phases like Korvac right now. I've noticed this for quite a long time, but it's actually pretty good. Sometimes I decide to debuff him. See, Resistance of Readiness. It's actually really cool. Not bad. See, one of these things, like one of these belts, could definitely help you cap things. And at the same time open some pretty interesting build ideas. As usual, portal before you go into the room. You never know when you're gonna fuck it up. So, he's out here. I'm already doing it because, watch that, see? He already had stacking trauma on him because, although I couldn't attack him, it was already done. Same thing here. As soon as my guys attack, that means I can attack him. Okay. Okay. I have to stop because I'm out of energy. I don't understand any of this. Now I have to wait. Yeah, I screwed this one up, but this can happen. If this happens, try not to be in the way. Like, literally try not to be in the way. Play it safe. I have to wait a bit for my energy to be up.
That skill's not ready.
And now I'm waiting for the other thing to pop. And that's it. Go ahead and done there. Nope. It was pretty close though. If I would have gotten hit by all of that, I could have probably died, but I just got greedy at the end. You can play this fight safe if you don't have all of the gear or if you feel like your damage is a bit low. Let's see if he's giving me his helmet. It's gonna be like his fourth one or something. No, nothing. Wow. So guys, I already wasted way too much of your time explaining the build. This is what it works, how it works, sorry. And again, to recap, very strong in terms of dealing pure physical damage, which is one of the most effective damage types in the game, because you can shred the resist very, very effectively. Warborn's set still pretty strong. I like it, still pretty good. Baranath still a very solid option. It still does everything that it's supposed to do and does it extremely well. And again, it also has some room for some improvements if you feel like you have what it takes to overstep it. The only problem that I see with this build is the energy cost is ridiculous, and you can shoot yourself very easily in the foot by trying to make it work, which is kind of ironic and kind of dumb, but we just have to wait for a fix to the energy cost, which is way too much once you hard cap Eye of Reckoning. And the other secondary thing is very low physical resist, like 20% for a dual wielding build. I personally feel that 20% is small number, but probably I've been spoiled by my Retaliation Warlord, which has like 32%, I believe, so take that with a grain of salt. Well, that's it. I hope you guys enjoy. If you have any questions, I hate to sound very stereotypical, but you can just message me. You don't have to comment, you don't have to like the video, you don't have to do anything about it. I just do it for fun, and that's why the production value is exactly 0. But if you have any questions about other builds or other variation of it, I'm really curious to see what you guys have in store. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.